Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another Dead Walking Dead character video. Today we will be looking at not one, not two, not three, but 4 saviors. Those being Jiro, Miles, and their 2 buddies. I covered Roman in a past profile, the other guy who's in the truck, so go check the episode on him after this one if you haven't already. Anyway, let's get into these 4 dudes. Jiro is of course male, he is played by Rich Carallo. He is late 30s and first appears in East. Miles is of course male, he is played by Reese Fleetwood. He is late 40s and also appears in East. The other 2 don't have character names, so I'll be referring to them by their respective actors' surnames as I normally do. The first is of course Losa. He is of course male, he is played by Scott Losa. He is in his 30s and appears in East. And finally we have Nedyalkov. He is of course male, he is played by Niko Nedyalkov. He is late 20s to early 30s and of course also appears in East. Nothing is known about their lives pre-outbreak, but after it began, at some point all 4 found and joined the Saviors and helped this group to subjugate and enslave communities, taking half their supplies as tribute. Nedyalkov has a hilltop spear as a weapon of choice, so he likely helped to take supplies from there at some point, or maybe he just traded something for the spear. Jiro eventually rose to be a lieutenant for the Saviors too. After learning that the satellite outpost was destroyed and attacked and everyone was slaughtered, and also Dwight's group being attacked on the railway tracks, Jiro and his band of men scouted Alexandria and discovered where the attackers were from. Jiro and his crew were heading there in their truck in order to subjugate the community and to kill people in revenge. Jiro possibly was in line to be the lieutenant for the community if he was successful in subjugating it. Miles got in the driver's seat, Jiro, Losa, and Nedyalkov got in the back of the truck, and Roman joined them too in the passenger seat, and they all headed off to Alexandria. What could go wrong? In Season 6, Jiro, Losa, and Nedyalkov are seen heading down a road, and of course, they spot Carol in her car coming towards them. Of course, Miles probably gave them the holler because he was in the driver's seat. As the truck passes Carol's car, Jiro fires his gun and shoots out her tyres, causing her to spin out of control. They park up down from the road from her car, and Jiro steps up and aims his gun at Carol, telling her to put her hands up. Carol begs for them not to hurt her, and Jiro jokes everyone always assumes the worst, demanding that she steps out of the car. Carol does so and informs Jiro and the others all she has is a knife and a car, but Jiro points out she has information about where she's from and where she's going to. Jiro introduces himself and asks for Carol to do the same. She says she's Nancy from Montclair. She just bounces around and isn't from anywhere really. Jiro agrees she's not going anywhere, but doesn't buy all of her other bullshit, pointing out she's from somewhere other than Montclair. Jiro asks Miles what's the name of that gated community again, and Miles reminds him it's called Alexandria. With a smile, Jiro puts his gun down, pointing out that the community has cars outside of it with spikes through it, just like the one that Carol is driving. Jiro highlights that a woman like her, with no weapons, protection, or even a clue, shouldn't be out here alone, and suggests that he brings her back to Alexandria, as they were about to head there now anyway, and maybe if she's with them, Alexandria will let them inside. Carol begins to hyperventilate. Miles seems to find this particularly funny, in a bit of a creepy way, I may add. Jiro, though, he seems to find it, also a little funny. Why are they all laughing at this woman hyperventilating? Carol tells them they can just go home, no one has to get hurt. Jiro replies that it looks like someone does have to get hurt actually. Roman tells Jiro just grab her before she passes out, and Jiro nods to both Losa and Nedyalkov to do as Roman suggested. And both men begin to step off the truck to grab Carol as she pleads with them just to leave her alone and don't do this. But they ignore her pleas, so Carol does this to Losa and Nedyalkov. Shot with Carol's secret little gun up her sleeve. Nedyalkov's fatal wound was in the forehead, whereas Losa was shot in the chest. However, as she was shooting these two, Jiro ducked behind the truck to safety, whereas Miles, the driver, avoided the bullets by putting his head down. Once he notices Carol is out of bullets, Miles raises his head and jumps out, shooting at her recklessly. She ducks behind the other side of her car. Miles slowly creeps over to it with his gun drawn. Stupidly, he hugs the car a bit too tightly, so Carol is able to do this to Miles. Impaled through the heart with a spike. Rough. Carol then robs him of his gun and his body slumps to the ground. This whole time, Jiro was just hiding behind his truck, but Carol notices his foot protruding out. She reveals that she sees Jiro and tells him to come on out. Jiro says he's going to pass on that. As Carol creeps closer, Jiro takes out his knife, ready to pounce. As she turns, he charges at her with his knife drawn, but off-screen, Carol shot Jiro in the gut. Jiro bleeds out on the ground in pain. Losa reanimates at some point after this, but doesn't go for the dying Jiro. Instead, he heads to snack on Miles' body. Sometime after this, Roman awakes and tells Jiro to shush and just let go. Just let go and die, man. Seconds later, Morgan and Rick arrive in their car. Rick rushes over with a knife. He grabs Jiro, demanding to know where Carol is, but Jiro is in so much pain and choking on his own blood, he's unable to answer. With that, Rick does this to Jiro. Stabbed in the head by Ricky Dicky Doodog Rhymes, although he probably would have died from Carol's gunshot wound. Morgan comes across Losa eating Miles's body, and he smacks Losa hard with his stick, putting him down for good. Nedyalkov was of course shot in the head, so he wouldn't have turned, but it's unsure if Miles did, as Rick and Morgan didn't destroy his brain. But eventually it's known that the Saviors and Negan came across the bodies of Jiro and his crew. It's unsure if they buried them or just left them there to rot. Who knows? They also may have, of course, put Miles down for good if he had turned. Either way, R.I.P. Jiro, Miles, Nedyalkov, and Losa. These four guys were nothing more than more saviors, but Jiro was cool. I thought the actor brought like a little bit of a charm to this kind of minor role. Miles was downright creepy, and the other two were just red shirts. Either way, the machine gun up the arm scene is dumb, and I don't really know how needed it was. I guess, in a sense, we needed it for Roman, who obviously eventually confronts Carol. Go check out that video if you haven't, by the way. But either way, I just think this scene is a bit bizarre. It's one of the most bizarre scenes in Season 6. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on these four dudes, and I guess we'll see you in the next video next week. But first, let's spin that wheel. Let's see who the next profile will be on. Ooh. Oh no. It's the Bitten Whisperer. Interesting.